start by saying your name and the pronunciation of it as well.
Yep. So it's Kevin, Kevin, Greene, Greene.
Okay, perfect. So can you just tell our listeners and our viewers a little bit more about yourself and your background and how you even came into this role?
Yeah. So my name, Kevin Greene, and I am I really at this point say I'm a serial entrepreneur because I've gotten to that point where I'm doing multiple things now. My skill set has always been problem solving, marketing, community development things, business development projects, public relations. And 10 years ago, I started my first company. Well, not my first company, my first viable company, which was a marketing and advertising company that I'm still running to this day. So we're 10 years old. And we have really dedicated ourselves to what we call our ecosystem. So as a marketing company, we're not just doing advertising and graphics and design and strategy and implementation. We're also working with our nonprofit community. We're working in the community. We're giving back, and we're really focused on creating an ecosystem where all layers of the community are important, and we need to making sure that we're making that everyone is thriving. So we've taken that philosophy to our big corporate clients, our small businesses, and saying, how do you do what you do and be great at it, but also understand the impact that you need to make within your community? So it's really been my guiding kind of star in the sense of how I do my work, and making sure that's impactful in multiple ways than just the direct services that we provide.
Okay, awesome. And so, so that's one company. What drew you into cannabis?
So truthfully, I always say this. I grew up, I was born in Jamaica, and then I grew up outside of New York, about 10 minutes from the city, northern New Jersey. And, as a person that interacted with cannabis, a good part of my life, never ever thought, because when you grow up in New York and New Jersey, there's just a lot of laws. There's a lot of things that don't happen there, right? So I always look as growing up, I'm like, oh man, that's a California thing, man. They get to do whatever they want over there. That ain't happening over here. So in my mind as a career opportunity, it wasn't an urge to move to California. I never actually looked into the industry until this opportunity came to the table, and we started to take a look at to say, well, as cannabis is moving east, everybody went west to learn about cannabis and work in the industry. That means there's going to be a lack of opportunity in the sense of the talent pool that's east.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw that there was a gap, and there was going to be a huge need for workforce development. So at that point, we decided that's when that really piqued my interest, because it really fit into my philosophy of ecosystem. Well, building businesses, creating economic impact, building the community, and creating new opportunities for people, right? So it spoke to me, and I was like, man, I could translate my skill set directly to this industry and actually build out a school. And what we wanted to do was build a program that was really focused on taking the person that was like me, that might have known about cannabis and used it, but didn't understand the science of cannabis. And then within 6 to 8 months, we can have you working in the industry. And we've done that for over 400 students that have graduated. We've graduated over 500 students, and about 400 of them are in the industry working today. So we've just done a great job of taking people directly from a passion or an interest to actually being able to work. And it's really just been fulfilling for me, where now I'm so focused on how do I create more social equity within the industry through education and economic means. I believe in criminal justice reform, but to me, that's not enough. We need to be focusing on how do we develop people economically so they can be stable to actually be able to move up move up through their life, but also create a better quality of life for themselves and their families.
Got it. So that being said, that sounds like amazing work. It sounds like you're really changing the lives of individuals in that community and doing really meaningful work. Can you tell us just a little bit more about the school, You know, I know you said it's like 8 to 9 months, but like what are people actually learning? You know, do you have to go there full time? Can you go part time? Things of that sort.
So first, let's start really with the program in itself, right? So when I say workforce development, I'm being very direct in that using that term. Reason being, what we did was, and within the other work that I've done within community and large agencies, is I've been a part of developing and working on workforce development programs and recruiting of that. And these programs are specifically built around specific technical job skills that would provide an individual a higher rate of employment within an industry. So we said that's specifically what's needed here. So we based and designed our our offerings and our curriculum based on what the industry needs. So when you come to Cleveland School of Cannabis, you have 5 career tracks or 5 major options. The first is cannabis horticulture, and that's teaching you how to basically grow and work in a commercial cultivation, not at home. Obviously, these techniques you can slim down, but this is all about commercial cultivation. The next would be dispensary operations. Pretty straightforward. How to operate a dispensary, right? But also the knowledge base you need to be able to navigate the patient experience as well. So that's built into the curriculum in the sense of exploration. Then we have hemp and CBD um, in the sense of how to cultivate hemp for CBD or textile products. Then we have extraction, which is I think the coolest part of the cannabis industry because that expands all the products and all the cool science things that you really can do with cannabis as we start to isolate cannabinoids and pairing them with other delivery agents, right? Very, very, I think that's the biggest upside in the industry in itself. And then we have a medical applications of cannabis class, which is very a cannabis research studies, endocannabinoid system, more of a cannabis research studies program. And then we have what we call our executive program, which is a combination of the core classes of all of those 5 programs in itself. So what we've lined up is making sure that people are getting the direct skills that the industry needed, not just anecdotal skills that they might be able to translate. And that is the reason why our graduates see so much success is because everything that we do is built on them getting employed, not just getting educated by CSC. We only find success when our career service department says they've been placed. That's when we've considered the life cycle of the student done, not when they graduate our program. And that's the main reason why we have our own career services department that only works with students and employers and getting them connected directly. So everything from the curriculum we offer, how we recruit, the program, when you're in it, all the way to when you graduate is all set up about workforce development and making sure we create a pipeline for success, which we've proven over the last 4 years.
Got it. So what kind of students do you guys see? Is it, you know, young individuals? Like you said, you didn't see the opportunity there. Are you seeing young individuals who are seeing that? Are you seeing older individuals that have said, I've been doing it, or I've always wanted to do it, so I saw it as an opportunity?
I'm gonna say this, and it's crazy as a marketer, right?
Mm-hmm.
My college professor would be like, that is not how it works. So the first thing you learn, first day of marketing class, the first thing that they say is understand your market because you can't market to everybody, right? You know,
Yeah.
there's no product for everybody. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna say cannabis is for everybody. What I will say is our demographics at the school are between 19 and 77.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it is a crazy large demographic.
Uh-huh.
And it's exactly what you said. Young individuals that are more keen and more educated than I was as a 20-something-year-old, right? Because cannabis has been more normalized for them, right? At the
Yeah.
end of the day, right? I'm being 35, I'm the last of the don't just say no, dare kind of situation, the propaganda. I mean, and the internet's here, right? So people have access, right? And the data's here
Mm.
at a high level. So these kids are way, way more informed and on top of anything than I was ever at that age.
Yeah.
The second thing is those individuals that says, man, I've been in it. I'm the reason why this industry is here, right?
Right.
And some people are looking to transition their careers.
Mm-hmm.
Others are looking to that are retired and don't need it, but others are looking to kind of finish off something that they might have started and being able to be in an industry that hey, I mean, you're 70 years old. You've seen this whole thing, right?
Right.
So you're fulfilling something, I think, internal. So being able to get in an industry and be a part of something that's really changing the world. So it's been really, really great to see that, demographic wise, all ages, all socioeconomic. We even have a principal of a high school that's about to graduate right now. That's an active principal. She's an active principal at a high school right now.
Awesome.
Is graduating at school. Doctors, medical professionals, professors,
Right.
lawyers, the full gambit. We see at a school because individuals are not only wanting to work directly with the plant, but also people like myself or wants to translate their skill sets, because as much as you need a technician and a lab and a cultivator, you need marketers, you need HR, you need financing, you need
Yeah.
good people that know how to set up sales, train people. You need all of these because it's an industry. So
Mhm.
we really see the gambit of everybody. It's quite interesting to say the least.
Great. That's really good to hear, actually. And so tell me, I know we're in a interesting virtual space. And the school is called the Cleveland School of Cannabis. Can individuals not in the Ohio area, can they attend, or is that just the way your programming is? You're more towards people who can physically come to
So
school.
our program is a national program. We have obviously two brick and mortar campuses, and then we
Mhm.
have a full online program. So we launched our online program end of 2019. So individuals can take. We service students in about 13, probably more than that. The last time I've updated the chart was 13 states. We're probably at 16 or 17 states right now. So it is a national program where we're a state approved program. So one of two for cannabis education in the country, and we'll finalize our national accreditation process, which will make us the first national accredited only cannabis focused educational institution in the world. So when I say that we look at what the higher education statuses have been, we've modeled our standard after the best in higher education, but we do not. What we don't allow us to do is to be handcuffed by the archaic process that higher education can have. We partner with higher education. We're friends of them, but we understand the systems that are in play for them that don't allow them to pivot the way
Right.
we do. And being a workforce development program, if the workforce needs this, we have to pivot to be effective. So we need that flexibility to be able to move on the drop of a dime.
Awesome. So anyone listening can enroll whether they're in Ohio or not. Awesome. Great to know.
Yes, that's correct.
You talked a little bit about reform earlier. What
Mhm.
role do you think policy plays into educational programming?
Well, this is the example that I use because I've been talking with a lot of elected officials around this and governing bodies. Is I've seen it over and over and over, right? A casino moves in to the
Mhm.
area, and the first thing they talk about is that it's going to create jobs. It is at the end of the day. Then they start talking about, well, we're going to do trainings for people to learn how to deal blackjack and poker. They normally partner with the community college, put down hundreds of $1,000s, and then people learn how to be a blackjack dealer, right?
Mhm.
And they go in. The cannabis industry actually needs a skilled workforce, and there's no money being dedicated to education when that same money is being dedicated to all these other things that really don't create upward mobility. I don't know where your upward mobility is as a blackjack dealer. I don't think it's much. But in the cannabis industry, if you're an entry level person now and you
Mhm.
actually have great work ethic and you continue to grow yourself, in a year or two, you're not going to be an entry level person because every business is growing. And in a sense, every business in the cannabis industry, even if it's the largest business in the cannabis industry, is still a startup. We
Right.
haven't reached our cap. We're nowhere close to even knowing how big this thing is going to be yet, right? So that's my situation. So policy around making sure that education is bare minimum in all policies and all reform around cannabis has to be, because you're doing two things. You're saying that this is a medical product, but you're not going to put money into the education of the individuals that have to create the product and administer the product. That doesn't make sense, and we don't do that in any other industry. We always put money into education, always money into job training. It needs to be there because we need to make sure that we have the resources so we can educate people at the highest level, because that's what the patients deserve, and also if you're a wreck, that's what the consumer deserves at the end of the day.
Right. Right. Okay. That's good. So tell me this. I know you also mentioned I can't remember what you classified it as, but it was more so the research track. Um,
Mhm.
do you have any thoughts on that? Because I know, here in Michigan, we have a lot of public universities and things of that sort, and a couple of them are starting to add, like you said, certain programs, but it doesn't seem as though there's opportunities for research and things of that sort. What are your thoughts on that, especially from an educational perspective?
Yeah. Research for me is, and that's the reason why we need to get out of this prohibition, right? Because research happens on our college campuses, right? The main reason of that is that you got pretty cheap labor, right?
Yeah.
And you're able to recruit the great new young minds, right, of the world, right?
Mhm.
So it just needs to happen, because at the end of the day, research allows us more innovation, and more innovation allows us more market growth.
Mhm.
So we need, and that's when we think about policy as well. What's holding back a lot of this is the archaic policies that we have to deal with going state by state, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of things are being held back because when we think about research, there's a lot of federal money that's tied up in research, right?
Right.
A lot of federal funding that funds a lot of our colleges that do a lot of the major research. So
Mhm.
no one is trying to put their funding at risk. And that's why you're seeing the large institutions, they're tipping their toe. They don't even have an ankle in the water yet, right? So once we finally get to that point where we're get the great minds, doing what they do around cannabis, which again, right, is a whole nother side of the industry. It's
Yeah.
just going to be cannabis research and isolating cannabinoids and creating delivery systems and working on our dosaging and all those types of things and going through the clinical trials. All these things that need to get done, that we want to get done, will be there. So I think that's also something that'll be affected in policy. And if the federal government is not ready to say marijuana is 100% legal, the two things that they need to do from a policy standpoint is reschedule it to Schedule 2. And the second thing they need to do is to put some type of bill in to say that we're not going to go after any banking and allow cannabis businesses to bank, and then say that anyone that's receiving federal funds that's in a legal state won't be subjected to any of the federal laws around cannabis. That's the right thing to do, and that's the adult thing to do. At the end of the day, we can walk and chew. We don't have to say, okay, let them just walk over here. We're not going to be able to chew. America can walk and chew. We can do these things at the same time. We can have a both and mindset to say we're not federal yet, but we can go ahead and put in laws to making sure that states understand that no federal charges are going to come down to them, and their federal funding is not going to be affected if they're doing something that's illegal. At
Right.
the end of the day, that's what we're talking about. So
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Really great gems over here. Last question is more of a personal one, but
mhm.
what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh man, so I think about legacy a lot because I have a 4-year-old son, and for me, what I hope my legacy will be, is, and the Greene name, especially for my son to continue to live that, it would truthfully be the fact that people could see that this person was authentic, that Kevin Greene was authentic and 100% committed to doing what it takes to get the job done, in my pursuit of success. I truthfully want to have a legacy of a person that was able to find individual success at the same time being able to create stability and make a real change, sustainable change within his community. And I look at my community as anywhere I'm doing business. So I have the community where, where my home address says it is, but I
Mhm.
have the communities that I do business in, and that also means so much to me because without those communities thriving, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. So I just really hope, when I'm not here, individuals are saying that Kevin Greene was authentic, he was committed, he did what he said he would do, and he was able to really go ahead and make sustainable change within the community. That I'm hoping that whoever is, running this ball down the field, has a great base that they can go ahead and take it to the next level.
Awesome. So, time to do all the shout outs, Instagram handles, websites. Where can people find you? Where can they find school? All that good stuff.
No, definitely. So you can find me on all social media. On Instagram, it's at New Leaders. That's NEULEADERS. Facebook, LinkedIn, it's just Kevin Greene with the E at the end. And then you can, on all social media networks, you can just search Cleveland School of Cannabis. You'll be able to find us on all social media networks, all of them that exist pretty much. In the sense of that, you can always go to csceducation.com, visit our website, check us out, learn about what we're doing, what we're offering. I urge everybody is ask questions. That's what we're here for. Ask questions, learn some stuff. We want to provide you as much information as possible. We always do a free educational seminar every single month to basically be able to showcase what we do, but also be able to go ahead and grow the knowledge base of individuals that are not sure if the cannabis industry is something that they want to take advantage of. So go ahead, check us out, connect with us. Sometimes you hit the inbox, you might get an email directly from me at times. I always like to check them just to see what the public is saying and what the public is inquiring about. So just looking forward to connecting, really building a coalition of like-minded individuals that are ready to go ahead and really take this industry to the next level.
Awesome. Well, again, we appreciate your time. We know you literally are in the airport. So again, thank you for prioritizing us and giving us your time this evening. Safe travels and have a really good rest of your week. We'll see you later.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Same here.